Wen Wen Yang is a first-generation Chinese American from the Bronx, New York. She graduated from Bernard College of Columbia University with a degree in English and creative writing. Her work can be found in Fantasy Magazine, Cast of Wonders, and more. Wen Wen, over to you.
Hi, thank you. This is for Minor Magics of Chinatown. I hefted the bulky envelope and stared at the return address. Wellesley College. Well, damn. They don't send heavy packets to rejects. I didn't even need Cousin Lee's red envelope telepathy to tell me what it said. The rest of us held our red envelopes up to the light to see what bills were inside. Cousin Lee would just rub it between his fingers and just know. At dinner, I told my mother, I got into Wellesley College in Boston. Boston is too far. That night ended with a slammed door. I furiously wrote in my journal, even if she doesn't give me permission, I'm going. I drew stars and closed in circles around that sentence as if I could force my future into place. When I woke, my puffy eyes made my monolids even more pronounced. I pressed a hot towel to my face and wanted to scream into it. Instead, I silently accompanied my mother to the Chinatown Farmers Market. We moved like choreographed dancers. She stayed a couple steps ahead of me while I pushed the rolling cart. A coach bag, First Auntie's latest gift, hung from her shoulder. First Auntie could tell a counterfeit from authentic without touching the leather goods. How much? My mother asked the Mandarin. The vendor told her the price. My mother weighed the mangoes in her hands. Her father was a grocer, so I don't think her abilities came from magic. Her hands learned from years of sorting fruits and vegetables. She never brought home mangoes with internal brownness. Her grapes were always plump and sweet. She never found a red delicious apple that was worth buying because that name is a lie. My mother countered with a lower price. Thankfully, this wasn't Macy's. One winter after I hit my growth spurt, we couldn't deny my need for a new coat anymore. The sleeves couldn't cover my wrists, and the jacket looked cropped. At Macy's, my mom ripped the tag off a JLo winter jacket, the last one in stock. She hoped the store could find a lower price on the computer. The Macy's store clerk must have come from similar people, telling my mother that whatever the price turned out to be, she should buy it because I looked like JLo in it. We're both from the Bronx, but that's where the similarities end. My mother didn't know who JLo was, but we did buy the coat. I'm going to need it for Boston's winters. The fruit vendor looked at the mango in my mother's hand and countered with another price. I thought it was fair. My mother offered another price. I sighed loudly. My mother shot me a look. The fruit vendor laughed. Okay, for you. Your daughter doesn't like haggling? She's too American, my mother said, her fingers sliding over mangoes. I added the bag, it felt like 5 pounds, to the rolling cart as she paid. You should learn to do this, she told me in Windonese. I can't always be shopping with you. I started to say, does that mean when someone shouted my mother's name? My mother greeted a woman with a bright, round face. She introduced me. Auntie Shi had worked with my mother at the sweatshop. Excuse me, garment factory. Wow, she's so tall. Auntie Shi looked at my mother like she had overwatered me. I felt like I was wearing the too small winter coat again. How old? 17. Off to college soon, Auntie Shi then turned to me and asked in English, what school are you going to? NYU? Columbia? Even people who just met me assumed I would stay home. Wellesley College in Boston. This felt more real than getting the thick envelope full of forms and futures. My mother's eyes widened, but managed to smile when Auntie Shi said, you're letting her go to Boston. She will marry a Harvard student. My son's going to Chicago for engineering. I exited the gossip train and went in search of bubble tea. My mom found me at the small seating area by the food trucks. She added a golden pineapple to the cart. We made several more stops, lemon vita tea, a copy of the World Journal, until the cart was heaped with goods. We rode the screeching subway home without speaking as the announcers mumbled. When we put away the groceries, Cherie appeared with the acceptance packet. She set it gingerly in front of me. I pointed out the financial aid information. It's out of state tuition, but I will get a work study job, and I have savings. Only girls in the pictures. It's an all-women's college next to Harvard. I silently thanked Auntie Shi for reminding me of that point in its favor. You want to go, you go. I blinked up at her. I can? I saved money for your college too. Your college is in Boston. I beamed up at her and quickly wrote the check for the first semester before she could change her mind. Besides, Auntie Shi says, whatever Auntie Shi says happens. You'll find a husband at Harvard. I looked into the gift horse map. Can Auntie Shi say I'm going to win the lotto instead? My mother waved her hand as if sweeping away that crumb. She's only good with marriages, not money. I shrugged. My mother beamed. And she says, there's a Chinatown bus to Boston. You could come home every weekend. Even the magics of Chinatown could only loosen my leash, never sever it. The end. Thank you.